Hey everybody, it's Mallory Donahue from the Self-Sewn Wardrobe coming at you live here today. So I'm super excited to be talking about the DIY-style cutting system today, but also just to see all of you lovely people. And so, if you want to talk to me, if you want to comment on this video, you have to give eCam your permission. So I'll be able to see your comment or answer a question, but I won't be able to see your name, because we're doing it in this group and they're trying to get consent, for your privacy. So anyway, just heads up. As I start the video, a few things that I want to cover is that January, is going to be our month of your sewing space. And so remember that. January is also going to be our 31 days of sewing challenge. And so we did this last year. It was super fun, actually, but we did it in February, which was a short month. And you were supposed to go in your sewing room and sew something, do something related to your projects every day in February. So we're going to do that in January, which I think will be great. I think that we could include sewing and organization and everything, in that 31 days. So yeah, and if you want me to know who you are when you're commenting, I believe there's a link in the description that says give eCam permission to show your name to the broadcaster. So, I will answer your questions. Oh, there's Fred. Yeah. So Fred clicked on the link and now I know it's Fred. She said, what's all this now? What's all this now? I scheduled this live broadcast in the group and there was a little thing that said get reminder. Okay. So that's kind of exciting. That's one of the things that we can do now that we have our new computers. So I was really excited to be able to use this program because it's very nice. It allows me to put little linky poos in the in the frame. So today we're talking about this DIY style cutting system, and it's really neat because this company and this cutting system are fairly close to home. So ZD and I were based in Columbia, Missouri. That's where we live. And the company that makes this system, they're based in St. Charles and Missouri. And so they actually have a lot of their, as much as is feasible, they have a lot of this system actually constructed or assembled in St. Charles. So I also I know you all appreciate this. I think everybody likes it when I let them know a little behind the scenes stuff, but I actually pre-recorded some video for this broadcast, so I get to show you some things. I know that a lot of times when I'm doing things on the sewing machine live, it can be hard, so I actually pre-recorded a few things, and so you can see more easily what I'm doing, and that's very exciting to me. One of those pre-recorded things, I'm still waiting to upload, so that's why I'm looking at my phone. All right, so this DIY style cutting system that I'm going to be talking about today, let me show you what the deal is. So, yeah, Leah, I can see you. Kelly, I can see you. Someone else said I don't see the link thing. So yeah, I can't tell who that is. So if you see the link up there, it lets me see your name. So I'll be able to see your comment. I just won't be able to see who made it if you don't do that. Okay, this is the DIY style cutting system. Actually, sorry Cindy, your logo's going to be upside down right now. It is a cutting mat, okay? It's a cutting mat on one side. It is messing with my white balance. It is a cork board on the other side. So if you are familiar with tracing off garments, if you ever went to fashion school, like I know a lot of you do, you're familiar with this cork board surface. You're going to see me use it later in the broadcast. Oh, Erin says that the new video looks good. Great. I'm really, really happy. I'm also happy with this system. So this is kind of, this is a rotary mat and a cork board on the other side, okay? And then the really cool thing about it that makes it not just a cutting mat is that it is magnetic, okay? So it accommodates these magnets. So let me show you those holding up, also included in the system, this T-square. Okay, so the T-square, right here, it locks into the system. You'll be able to see that a little later. So it locks in there. And the magnets, I'm using them right now to hold onto the T-square, but they just, they're really strong, pop on there. So let me show you. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. A little bit of a trade-off. Oh, you guys are talking about my hair. Okay. A little bit of a trade-off here between using the computer like this and using the phone. The phone is a little bit more flexible, but my computer does. I mean, hey, not bad here. Okay, so these magnets, all right, oh look, they even go upside down. Okay, so the cutting system comes with magnets to hold your fabric down. And you all know, I mean, when Cindy described this system to me, I was like, okay, well, I'm in love because this is how we cut. We don't like to pin pattern pieces to fabric. I mean, we use pins, okay, but I don't like to pin pattern pieces to fabric. And so when I have a pattern piece, especially on a knit, I mean, a woven too, of course, but I don't want to be, here, this is just a little quick and dirty example. Let's pretend this is my knit fabric. Of course, this would be on the fold. But look, I don't want to be doing this with my knits. And look, that distorts the pattern, okay? All right, I don't like it. So what we normally do in our studio is we have pattern weights, okay? And so I'll show you how these magnets work. Of course, they stick things down. There's no distortion. That is what we want, all right? So, this is just amazing. This is how we like to sew. This is how we like to do things. And so I love the magnets. How this was developed, here, let me get you my beautiful face again. How the system was developed is that Cindy, who runs DIYStyle.net, her daughter, and I might not be getting this story like absolutely 100% correct, so Cindy can correct me if she's watching, or maybe I can get this a little clearer, but what she told me when I got to see her at Baby Lock Tech is that her daughter is a fashion designer, and she designed swimsuits for, like a like California pageant or something like that. So she designed these swimsuits, and she sent the swimsuits off to a cutter, and they were supposed to cut them, okay? But it didn't happen. I don't know if they didn't get them in time, or if like the cutter just like flaked out or what, but that did not work. And so they had to do this cutting system, and they kind of winged it. They made up their own cutting system, and they, it was easiest to cut all of these, small knit pattern pieces for swimsuits by having magnets, by keeping everything held down like that. And I'm like, heck yes, I'm all for that. I don't like pinning pattern pieces down. I feel like it distorts things. And so anyway, they then decided this is a great idea. We'd like to bring this to, like the home sewing world. And so they did. And so this is what resulted, this DIYStyle cutting mat. They got funding, like, from presenting the idea to an incubator. It's really neat. So I'm glad to see that. Okay, so let's see. Do I have any comments asking about it? And you can, what I'm sharing here is an affiliate link, full disclosure, to DIYStyle.net. And I am going to show you. Okay, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm sort of, taking a cop out here, but I thought it would be kind of neat to do some pre-recorded video and see how this worked. So I actually did some work on this before I got on here with you all, and I'm excited to see this. So I'm going to show you how I'll show you my project first, because I didn't really talk about that. All right, so I love it when kids ask for stuff for Christmas, and it's just like, they just made it up, okay? They just, it's not like, I want a Nerf gun, like that they saw on the TV. I mean, and that happens too, and that's great, okay? But, it's just, I'm sure this has happened to you. And so Zelda asked for a rainbow swimsuit. She's real into rainbows. She's like, I want rainbow noodles. I want rainbow teeth. I want a rainbow cupcake. And everything is going to be rainbow. Last year it was orange, but Now everything's rainbow. So she asked for a rainbow swimsuit. My sister, Hillary, who's in the group, and you all know her, she was very thoughtful, and she asked if she could get Zelda, like for Christmas, like for her Christmas present, if she could just take her swimming with her boys. Fabulous. Like, rainbow swimsuit, experience gift, useful, da-da-da-da-da, fabulous. And actually, ironically, we were listening to the podcast, A Slob Becomes Clean, and she was talking about experience gifts, and of course her big thing is decluttering, and experience gifts don't take up room, and that can be nice. And so Zelda and I were listening to that. Hillary called me in the car, said, hey, what about swimming? And Zelda was like, I love swimming. And I said, did you know that when someone takes you someplace and does something special with you, that can be a present? She's like, oh, really? But like there are other presents like there. And I said, yes, but this is, if somebody takes you to the swimming pool and takes you to a restaurant or something like that can be a gift. She's like, yeah. So she's 3. She seems to be understanding this. She's, and so I've repeated this to her a couple of times since then. What else is a present? A present can be taking someone somewhere special. So anyway, rainbow swimsuit. Fabric. So I was like, am I going to piece together Roy G. Biv and do this? What am I going to do? Da, da, da. But we have all of this fun stuff from when ZD made Ariel costumes, and I'm like, this is rainbow. And then also I am going to applicate like a little rainbow motif onto the swimsuit. And so anyway, this cutting system was originally designed to do swimsuits and stuff like this. And you know that ZD and I love the knits, all right? So a cutting system that allows you to just magnetically hold down your fabric, the least distortion possible, wahoo. Now, I will say, I am not as experienced using the corkboard side of things, but they did a fabulous demo video for this DIY-style cutting system, and it shows how to do it. And I was like, you know what? That's so on, what do I want to say? It's on point for me. It's very relevant to me because I don't have any swimsuit patterns that are Zelda's size. Zelda is a 3-year-old who really wears like 18-month-old clothing. This is her dance leotard, okay? And actually fits pretty okay. So I was like, I need to make a pattern from this little dance leotard. I will use the techniques that they show in their demo video. So this is a little pre-recorded video of me doing this. I'll still be able to see your comments and everything, but check out how I trace this leotard. Okay, let's see if this works. So what I'm going to do to trace this leotard, it's a little unorthodox. You can do this like a few ways, but I think the easiest way for me to do it is to actually fold this in half, okay, since this is a pretty simple garment. And I'm just going to mark this halfway point like with a pin up at the top, and then, or that's the bottom, okay, and then mark it with a pin up at the top here. And I'm going to lay this flat on here. There's a lot of bulk in these seams, like these knit seams here, and with this elastic, so I'm choosing not to just fold it in half, but to find the halfway point like this. And then I'm going to use this T-square, and it's kind of locking in place on the edge of the mat there. So then I'm going to just lay it down. Got the 2 pins, so I should have my 2 halfway points. That should be good. Like I said, this one was a little, when I tried to fold it, it was just not great. Okay, so then to hold that T-square in place while I'm doing stuff, I can use these magnets if I want. You can use 1, you can use 2, you don't have to use any if you're not afraid of it shifting around, that's fine. And then this tracing wheel, actually, it's not the absolute best for this. It's nicer to have one with longer teeth, but this is the one that I have on hand now. And here's one that's even less pointy. It's like meant to be used with transfer paper, but I'll show you how this one's going to work. This is actually going to create little holes on my paper, and the cork back, this side of the DIY cutting system is cork. The cork back is going to allow it to poke holes. So I'm just going to do this. and go around it. Now, in the video that DIYStyle released, they show Elise going through some clothing, and you can do that too. So here's my shape. I'm not going to do this line like right here. I'm just going to like do this and this. I'm not going to do that center line because I can just connect those. But, so I've got the front of my leotard here. That's what's facing me. Okay, so at this moment, I can't see the back neckline. Okay, I'm going to kind of flatten it out. And so I am going to use this and go through the garment, okay? Like I said, one of these with longer teeth won't hang up on your fabric like this, okay? And then check that out. Okay, I can smooth that out. And then also, I'm going to do the same thing by going through the sleeve seam, okay? Like I said, a little bulky right here, and it would be better to use, oh, yeah, see, that's a little wonky, but, well, no, not really. It does get that thin back there. Now, this doesn't include a seam allowance or a neckline allowance, but I can smooth that curve out here. So, look, I can just do that on my paper. I'll just bring that up and put this, and then trace that. I'm going to just hold this down. Oh, and I could, of course, use magnets to hold down the garment as well. So if you're copying something, this is one way to do it. Okay, so that's the back of the leotard because I've got the back leg opening and I've got the back neckline here. And if it's a little wonky, you know, I just smooth that up. Aw. It's going to be so cute. So if that's the back, and I can be done with that. Oops. I'm going to leave my center pins in there. I'm going to move that and just show you. Hey, looky here. Here's my center line. Oh, look, I forgot to do the little crotch area down there. That's okay. Okay, so that is straight across on this leotard coom bathing suit. All right, so here's my back. Okay, so Zelda Leo swimsuit 2018, 12/2018, because kiddos grow so fast. And then I'm going to do back. And at the moment, I'm just going to leave this like this. I'm not going to mark no seam allowance because I will go back in and add seam allowance. So now it's time to trace the front. So I'm going to follow a very similar process. Okay, get rid of my T-square for a moment. My magnets. Those magnets were also marking my filming frame, so hopefully I don't mess that up. Now, if you think I'm wasting paper, well, that's because I'm on TV, so don't get too upset. All right, so I could leave this, you know, facing, in fact, I think I want to. I want to leave this leotard facing up in order to trace the front, and I'll show you how I do that. So I can visualize that leg opening, okay? So probably actually would have been better for the back for me to have flipped it over for the back, but hey. Okay, so I can put these magnets in my ruler, or I can put them on my garment. I love the fact that you can kind of just, you know, tack down your tracing paper like this, you know, like a pattern weight, or we say even like tape it down with painter's tape, okay? So now we're doing the front, okay, and I'm going to do my little center line here, center line here. Oh, this neckline will be a little easier this time. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Okay, and now I have, so, whoop, there we go. Now I have the front leg hole to do, and so this is where I'm not gonna have to distort the garment, like by folding it or unfolding it or doing something weird, you know, and I can just, of course, trace around this. I could use my other tracing, you know, to transfer some of these, like obviously I want it to have the same side seam, etc., blah, 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 blah. And if you wanted to, like if you didn't want to go through your garment, let's pretend it's fragile or precious or something, and you're like, oh, I don't want it to snag. You know, you can do this. Okay, I'm folding it back, I'm doing a little bit at a time, okay? I'm getting those lines, those landmarks, and look, okay, that is the arm side. Looks better than the other one. And then I got my little front leg opening there, okay? And then since I have my center lines, I'm all good, so I can slide those away. And then I can take this away, take the garment away. Oh, I'm actually gonna bring this back, okay? And line that up right there, and I got my two landmarks, and here's my centerfold. So this is Zelda Leo Swim 12/2018 front, and I will delineate this as the fold. So anyway, that's how you can trace your pattern, and then you need to add your seam allowance and your hem allowance and all that, and then we'll flip this over and we will have the other side of the cutting mat. All right, everybody. Yay! Did you like the pre-recorded video? It's just, until the technology is available for me to like switch cameras and stuff, I think this is such a really exciting way to do this. I think it makes it easier for me to talk at you. So a few questions. I think I answered Kelly's question in the video on how not to hurt the fabric. Yeah. So you may have noticed this was catching, this tracing wheel. It was catching a little bit on my 2 layers of knit. So we don't want to do that if you're worried about your garment. Now, this garment's fine. Like, it was kind of just like pinning through it, you know, so if I just kind of brush it off a little bit, it's okay. And then, yeah, it was really nice to trace garments this way. Actually, I really enjoyed it, even though it's something that I don't do very often. I think I'll be doing it more now. So, the tracing wheel, though, that I'm using, or that I used in this video, it's not quite ideal. And I linked to a better tracing wheel in the comments here. It is a longer tooth tracing wheel, so it would even be better. I think part of the reason that this caught up on the fabric is because it wasn't quite long enough. And so Levi commented and said that their tracing wheel didn't do marks very well on paper. You have to have a long enough tracing wheel. There are 2 jobs that tracing wheels can do, okay? So just so you know, one might not work as well for this. There are other tracing wheels that have a little more blunt teeth on them, and they're meant to be used with transfer paper, okay? So they press hard enough to get you that copy onto chalk paper, okay? So keep that in mind. It might be a tracing wheel that's not actually meant to do this job like this. So get one that's long or have one that's long. I must admit that I thought we had the long one, and maybe we do, but I found this one, and look at this tracing wheel from forever ago, and it says ZD on it, and it has this kind of like plastic faux ivory handle. I love finding my mom's sewing supplies in here. So anyway, before we go on to the business side, I mean, that was business too, but I mean, we really want to get to cutting out our garments, don't we? I just want to tell you that this system, I believe this is 12 magnets. 12 magnets come in this system, but when you order through our affiliate link, which is, there we go, this hand, mirror image. When you order through sewhere.com/DIYstyle and you say, hey, Mallory sent me, or I'm part of the Self-Sewn Wardrobe group, or I am a sewing machine, say whatever you want in the order comments, you will get an extra set of magnets. Also, Cindy just emailed me. Let me get this straight here. Okay. They are selling mats only as an add-on. Okay, so this mat that I've got here that I held up earlier, it's 24 inches by 36 inches, and it has a 1/2 inch margin around it. So 24 by 36, depending on your sewing space, can actually be very nice. Like some people, this is all the space they have. Fred, I'm kind of thinking of your sewing room and like, what's the top of your freezer, okay? So, you know, if you are somebody who has that limited sewing space, great. Now, we have an 8-foot by 4-foot cutting table, and so I would love to tile a bunch of these together. So right now, the way that they're set up and have started shipping these, the mats are only an add-on, so you can't just go on and like buy a bunch of mats. Kelly asks, so do you feel that the magnet works a whole lot better than a lot of pattern weights? It does look a lot easier. You know, pattern weights work. I do feel like it doesn't let the fabric slide quite as easy. Of course, it'll depend on your pattern weights, but there is a little bit, you know, there's just more going on there than just the weight of it sitting down. And I have used a lot of different types of pattern weights. So, yeah, I do. I feel like the mats are pretty nice. Oh, Fred says her freezer's 22 by 32. It would just hang off a little bit. But anyway, like I said, it's got this 1/2-inch margin here. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna just do this with my computer again. Here we go. So the margin of the mat here, it's a 1/2 inch. So when you butt them up together, boom, a full inch, and you're good to go. It also has these 45-degree lines here for bias, which is what, you know, we are also obsessed with, along with knits. So the set is the mat, the T-square, okay, that locks on to the edge of the mat, okay, and the 12 magnets. And then when you order through us, you are going to get another set of magnets. You just got to make sure to tell them that we sent you. And if you are someone who's interested in another mat, you can do that as an add-on now. Boop. It's also on sale, okay? The sale price is on the website. It's on sale through Christmas Eve, and you get free shipping if you are in the contiguous 48 states of the United States. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Like I said, did a little bit of pre-recording here. So where is Zelda's swimsuit? It's easy to lose this, oh gosh, itty bitty little swimsuit pattern piece. Here we go. Oh, it's on the floor. So, Fred says, is it fairly stiff, like stiffer than the green Olfa? My Olfa kind of droops down over the overhang. Yeah, I think it's stiffer because of the cork. So it's still a little flexible, you know, just due to the material, but like, yeah, it's definitely stiffer than like this cutting mat. It's also a little heavier, than the cutting mat because of the cork. Okay. Look at this. So, here's my plan for Zelda's swimsuit. No sleeves, okay? This is going to be her indoor swimsuit. So, a lot of you know that we are a big fan of rash guards. Zeddy actually had a very serious melanoma, you know, a couple of years ago. And we have a pond, and we love being outside. And so, we actually like to cover up as much as possible when we are out in the sun, which we love to do. Anyway, and we're in love with rash guards. That's another live broadcast. But I took Zelda swimming a few times in her rash guard inside, and it wasn't warm enough or sunny enough in there for it to dry off quickly, and she got kind of cold. So I think that having her indoor swimsuit will be great. I'm going to do the front out of the fun foiled knit. And I'm going to do the back, actually, out of this purple swim lining. I'm also going to line the front with this purple swim lining, okay? So the back will be, I think, 2 layers of the swim lining, and then the front's going to be this lined with the swim lining. So I'm going to do that. And it's funny because we have a lot of the swim lining. It was, like, on sale from a shop. And then, obviously, I was cutting a shirt out of it. This is a sleeve that I'm not interested in making anymore. And I was experimenting with binding. Here. Oh, I think this is one of my best experiments with the cover stitch binder. I still have a ways to go. Zeddy has this down. I have not used it a lot, and so I'm testing before I do this on my final. I want to bind the neck. I want to bind the arms, eyes, you know, I think that's what I want to do. We'll see what happens. I thought I was making this a spaghetti strap, and now I'm not, so now I'm, like, not sure if I want to bind it. But I was cutting these binding strips and testing that out, so that was a lot of fun. And then, yeah, so let me show you real quick just the cutting, which is pretty straightforward. But I'll show you how the magnets, I think, can, I don't think I showed the magnets fitting into the T-square, but how they can be used to denote direction of grain and everything. So check out me cutting out, and it's time warp here, okay? So it's all done. All right. And then you can see how I cut it out. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, so I have Zelda's little swimsuit front here, and I have added seam allowance to it. I think you guys can see pretty well the trace lines, and I may have eyeballed the seam allowance a little bit. You know, you can be more exact. But this is the cutting side of the DIYStyle mat. So here we have a grid, once again, magnets that stick to it. And so the T-square, it's really nice that it locks in, like I showed you. And it will help me to keep everything on grain. Like, I've got everything lined up nicely on my grid, and it can help you if you've got a grain or if you know your direction of stretch or whatever. That can be really helpful. So look at how little this little baby bathing suit is. Okay, so I'm going to conserve fabric here. I'm going to put this on the fold. I'm going to make sure you all can see this. Yes, all right. Sorry, shaky table. Okay, and you all know that we don't like to pin down pattern pieces. It's just not our style. We enjoy weighting down pattern pieces. And if you can find, there we go, under all your other stuff, if you can find your pattern weights, they are really low profile. So even on this very small garment, they're going to be out of the way of my rotary cutter, and you can put them up in these little areas here, okay? So I've got it on the fold, and actually I'm only doing the front of this fabric, and so I'm going to just cut this with my rotary cutter now. And, you know, it just keeps everything nice and in place. If you are someone who likes to sew with knits like us, this cutting system is just so very perfect because it helps you tame those finicky fabrics. You don't want to distort these fabrics. You want to distort them as little as possible. So like pinning through them, like pinning a pattern piece to them, not a great idea. And look, this stuff with this foil on it can be a little finicky. So I'm just going gently, making sure. You could cut this out of one layer if you wanted to. I'm going to go right here and do my neckline. Okay, so it's keeping it nice for me. Yeah, this foiled stuff, maybe I need a new rotary blade. Okay, before I move this doesn't really have anything to do with the DIYStyle cutting mat, but hot sewing tip and something that's part of our 12 days of Christmas is to always notch your centers. So I'm just going to take a little boop, notch out of the center. And down here I have another center. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little boop, notch right there. Okay, and now I'm going to pick up all of my magnets. Ta-da. And now I have my, oh my gosh, it's going to be so adorable. My leotard cut out. Actually, this side of the fabric is beautiful as well. And see, look, I have my two little notches. So this system supports the way we really, really love to cut and make things. So it's going to help you tame those fabrics. This would be awesome also for stretch lace, etc. And that's how this works. So I said that the T-square locked in place, and I don't know if you could see that in this video. Let me adjust my camera angle for a moment. Don't get dizzy. Up here. See how that T-square locks in? And there are these holes every so often on the ruler in case you want to keep it at a certain place. So if I'm going to be cutting binding, like I will be doing for this bathing suit, that can be really useful to me. So I can, you know, line up my binding strips. Actually, maybe I should make a little video on that. All right, so that is how you use the cutting side of the DIYStyle mat. All right, Wasn't that riveting? Kelly, during the live, or during the pre-recorded video there, she asked, is there a way to sharpen rotary blades? And yes, there is. There are rotary blade sharpeners. I shared 2 links in the comments to the True Cut system. Actually, we used to sell that at the shop, and someone who used to use it a ton was a lady named Victoria, who worked for us in the store, and she just, like, she was really interested. This isn't a bad thing. I don't mean to say this in like a bad way, but she's like really frugal, and she really wanted to save these rotary blades. I have to admit, sometimes I'm just changing it, okay? But she used the rotary blade sharpeners that I shared. One of them is an electric thing where it has a stone, and you like oil the stone, you put the rotary blade in there, you plug it in, you close it, and you go zzzz, and it like re-sharpens the blade. So that's something that you can do. And then the other one is like this tabletop thing that you can put on your cutting table, and you just run your rotary blade through it a few times, like when you're thinking about it, maybe before a project or after a project, and it's got a stone in there. Okay, so you can also do that. And we used to sell those, and people were very, very happy with them. I have to say that I think we get a little, like personally, ZD and I are a little bit lazy about that. I think we actually have one of those maybe on our website that we like are selling, like when we're clearing out old inventory. But I'll have to check on that. But I did share Amazon links to those. Your local sewing machine dealer might carry them, possibly. So check that out. All right, so I think maybe I'm going to be binding this swimsuit. That was kind of the original plan. I'm not 100% sure that that's still what's going on, but I think I am. And so anyway, I just hate using scissors, okay? So, it's just not my thing. So, I, of course, am going to be using a rotary cutter in order to cut all my strips. Just for people who are unfamiliar or new to, like, the world of using the rotary cutter, it's absolutely amazing, and I think that it's the best way to cut out garments. And some people might come from the quilting world and using rotary cutters, which is great too. Rotary cutters don't only have to be used on straight lines. In fact, since they are round themselves, they do curves very well, okay? So I'm going to show you cutting a bit of binding here, and I think I can just slant my computer down a little bit, and it's going to show up really nicely. So this is some good, oh, yeah, I mean, I think that shows pretty darn well. Okay, just have to make sure that I actually have pants on when I'm doing these things. Okay, so this T-square, it's locking in. I know that is not in the frame. I could make it be in the frame. There we go. All right, so that T-square is right there. It locks in the table. I'll just move this. I'll move this up a little bit. If you're really wanting to get straight lines. And of course, when we use a traditional cutting mat, you know, and traditional rulers and all that jazz, we would just line this up, and we have a grid. So it's not like it's hard to get those angles. I'm trying to conserve fabric here. There we go. So it's not like it's always hard to get those angles, but if you're someone who feels like your ruler slides a lot, this is where this can be very helpful with these magnets in this ruler. Okay, so this is where the magnets can come in. There are a lot of ruler grippy products out there, and like things where like you push down on it with your hand. I still would, as I am rotary cutting, like put my hand on the ruler, but the magnets do, and look, I can put, I'm a little out of the frame there. I don't, you know, it doesn't have to be on the fabric even. It can just, you know, go here. Now, I'm way over magneting. It's like probably not necessary to put that many magnets in there. But I've got my rotary cutter, and I'm going to get my first straight line here of, talk about sharpening your rotary cutter. I think this one, ZD probably cut through like some carpet with it or something. Anyway, now in order to get my binding where I want it, I can just lift this T-square and, oh, take that other magnet out of it and move it. My lining needs to be 1.25 inches. So I'm lining up my T-square up here on my grid over here. I'm lining it up so I get 1 1/4 there. All right. And then, or actually the better way to do this, so that I'm not cutting, I mean, I'm going to cut lots of lines here, would be to do it like this. You want to cut, sorry, I'm getting a little like turned around because I'm doing this a little upside down. Normally I do it the other way. You want to cut not into your pattern piece, but like these are all going to be my pattern pieces because I'm just going to continually be cutting strips of fabric. Okay, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it like this. All right, so I line those up. And I mean, I'd probably just slip like 2 magnets in here. I need our, maybe I shouldn't sell that rotary sharpener. There we go. Okay, so here's my first strip of binding, and then I can just shaboom, move it. All right, now, if you all don't want to do the math here, you all, me, I'm going to line that back up with my straight line on my grid. Okay. And then go to 1 1/4 again. Why is it 1 1/4? Because I'm trying to use this binding attachment as I'm learning it, and as I was testing, that seemed to be the width that was working very nicely. In Mom's notes, she had written 1 3/8, which is 1/8 of an inch larger than 1 1/4. And I tried that, and I was having some trouble, so I like narrowed it up. So you always have to test with things like that. All right, so you can just keep it moving, okay? Oh, look. Oh, putting these here on the ruler, not through the hole, gives less holding power, and it kind of allows me to just slide this ruler, so that's good to know. So the ruler can be very helpful. Of course, you can use other rulers on here because it's a traditional cutting surface, but that is me like cutting some straight lines on here too. So you saw me cut some curves, of course, with the little baby swimsuits. Fred thinks the little baby swimsuits are hilarious because of their itty-bitty crotch gussets. I quite agree. Oh, look, everybody's seeing this cool magnet holder that they have. So the rotary cutter, so I showed you cutting with the rotary cutter. I think Kelly's asking for the sharpener, but I don't have it like out and ready. Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe that's like next time's video. So the DIYStyle cutting system that I've shown here is on sale. So normally this cutting system is $239 and it's on sale through Christmas Eve for $219. So this is a great gift. One reason I did the live broadcast today is that Cindy thinks that if you order by tomorrow that it could actually get to you by Christmas. So that is I'm sure we can't guarantee anything, whether USPS being weird. Like, I mean, I love them and they're fabulous, but sometimes just like weird stuff can happen with the United States Postal Service. So, anyway, if you order by tomorrow, you can get it for Christmas, but you know, if you're getting it for yourself, just be like, I'm getting this for myself, bam, okay? And don't worry about it. So normally it's $239. It's on sale for $219. Free shipping within the contiguous 48. So ta-da. And this is kind of a heavy thing, so that's really nice. You get the cutting mat. I just very enthusiastically slammed the table. You get the cutting mat, you get the ruler, you get the magnets, and then if you tell them, say, hey, I love, the self-sewn wardrobe, and that's where I found out about this, and blah, 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 then you can, you get another set of magnets. And then if you really just think this could be your cup of tea, they are selling the mats as add-ons right now. So check that out. But I hope that this video, I love this cutting system. I think it's fabulous. I really liked using the cork. But I thought I like doing this video to talk about lots of other things. And so, in January, it's supposed to be the 31 Days of Sewing Challenge, right? I think I'm also going to do a little challenge for myself, and I'm going to go live every day in January. Now, it probably won't be. I'm getting up to like 45 minutes here with this live broadcast. It probably will not be a 45-minute live, but just maybe a little update of like what I did in the sewing room and stuff like that. So if those of you who joined the group were original members and love seeing me live, you know, thought that was fun, get ready. Live every day. I mean, I think even on the weekends, I'm just going to come up here and talk to y'all about something to do with sewing. And so that will be also my challenge in the new year. Now, it might not be in this program. Probably be a little easier, just go live on my phone for some of those shorter ones. But I am excited to start talking about our sewing space and everything. So, yeah. OMG every day. Yeah. Wouldn't that be exciting? I feel like I've been kind of stepping up my game lately, and so I'm excited to do a challenge like that. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions about the cutting system, and I'll be sharing our link in the comments. You can also just go to, there we go, sewhere.com/DIYstyle, and you will be taken right to the cutting system. Of course, I think that I did an amazing video today, but DIYstyle themselves, they did a lovely demo video that shows this working, and I think that it was wonderfully produced, and I like how it shows in such like a short amount of time, like what's going on. So, okay, ZD didn't click the link to let me see her name, but I know this is who she's talking about. She says, you can talk about what I'm working on, because you better not move my stuff. Oh, and then I think this is Erin saying, I have missed these midday broadcasts while I cook lunch for the daycare. Yeah, so I, just been dealing with a little bit of overwhelm in my life since baby number 2 was born and kind of acclimating to that, but I'm excited to get back to more live broadcasts. I like talking to you guys. They always seem to energize me. And yeah, thank you all for watching. And then I did not even mention, I'm wearing my cropped jacket. Here, you can see it's cropped. This is what I was working on in, woo, oh, that looks nice. This is what I was working on, and I was sharing on Instagram, and it's what I wrote the blog post about with finding time to sew, and so very, whoop, very pertinent to our 31 days of sewing challenge. So anyway, check out the DIYstyle cutting system. I think it'd be lovely for someone's sewing space if they got a small space. They're trying to really utilize their space to be able to trace on it, draft on it, cut on it, etc. And everything kind of stores away very nicely as well. It's very flat. So Fred says she loves the jacket. Yes, that is what Fred said. That's what she's complimenting me on. The jacket. Not some imaginary compliment that I make up. So yeah, check out this system, though. I'm really impressed with it. You all have a lovely day. Thanks for joining me in this experiment, too, with some of that pre-recorded video. Let me know if you like that. I hope it didn't feel like I was trying to, like, skimp or something. I mean, all I did was kind of, like, pre-record it right beforehand on my iPhone. Here's my tripod here. You want to see? It's an Off-White with this tripod-y thing on it, so that I could, you know, like, do this and film. We didn't need to buy another tripod, right? Yeah, I always just pre-record that right beforehand and put it on. How I had to transfer it to my computer was a little roundabout. But yeah, I thought it was just nice to be able to show you things from up above, and maybe, you know, certain things like on the serger, I feel like can be difficult to show you, especially now that I'm using this computer program versus using my phone all the time. So anyway, if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you thought it was a cop-out, pre-recording stuff, you can let me know too, and I'll take that into consideration. So, all right, everybody, you have a lovely day. Hope you get something sewn today. You got to think about sewing today because you watched me, and that's half the battle. So, yeah, all right. Love you all so long and so happy.